Alright guys, it's JB here with another episode of Commentators Eye and another VAR special. You know, we're fed up with talking about VAR these days, aren't we? My viewpoint, I just want to have my take on it, of the weekends and obviously last night's events involving Newcastle. You know, I've been a lover of football since I was about, 7 or 8 years old, so nearly 35 years watching football, right, as a spectator or as a commentator for the last 7 or 8 years on YouTube. I have to say, in all those years of loving the game and enjoying the game for what it should be, I'm quickly starting to fall out of love, and it's down to one thing: VAR and the people. In fact, I think it's more the people that use the VAR that I'm really going to have a pop at here, because it's getting to the stage, folks, where we're now at this stage of the proceedings where VAR is just going to ruin the game. Now, 4 or 5 years ago, I thought, when they brought it in for the FA Cup originally, I thought it might do some good. You know, it might get some of the decisions right, because referees were getting a raw deal at the time. Decisions weren't being right, and there was talk of big club bias and things like that, which was true. So what we thought, VAR should be coming in for the clear and obvious. And again, I don't want to say it sound like a broken record like everybody else. It was brought in to clear up the clear and the obvious errors. Now, evidently, in the 5 years it's been going, originally from the FA Cup and now on to the Premier League and so forth, VAR has been a tool that's been used to re-referee football games, re-refereeing decisions. It's there to help the referee on the field, the on-field official on the field, not to re-referee every single decision or highlight every single decision going, whether it's marginal penalties or whatever. Now, I'll get on to the Newcastle one, and I want to talk a couple of these things chronologically. I'm going to go on about my team now. We should have had a penalty, I think, towards the end of the first half. Kolyoshu was tripped by Kufal. Every time I saw it, it looked a penalty. Now, for whatever reason, VAR took about 20 seconds, less than 20 seconds to declare that was not a penalty, when Ian Dowie said it was a penalty. The boys on Match of the Day said it was a penalty. You see what I'm saying? You know, it's scandalous, really, when you think about it. You know, if that gets given, I mean, obviously we didn't win the game, obviously we lost, but there was other reasons other than VAR why we lost it, which I explained in another video. But that was a disgrace. And then Manchester United get a similar penalty the next day against Everton, and that gets given. So where's the consistency? Is it the top 6 bias? Is there a top 6 bias against in the Premier League? You know, are only the top 6 benefiting from VAR decisions? Then there was the controversy in the Fulham Wolves game. Fulham got a penalty. You know, it was 2-2 going into the dying stages, and Fulham get a penalty, which to me, I've looked at it, it was not a penalty. It looked it looked clear cut that it wasn't a penalty, but the on-field referee was told by VAR, I don't know who it was, but to give the decision Fulham's favour. Now, you know, it maddens me that certain teams are getting the benefit of the decisions, and I feel sorry for Gary O'Neill in a way, the Wolves manager, because I believe that decision was an absolute con, and I can understand why he's blasted off. I can understand why Vincent Kompany's blasted off. I can understand why Jurgen Klopp or any of the managers that have been on the receiving end of bad or ranked decisions. Eddie Howe last night, I'll touch upon that in a second. I can understand why they're getting mad. I mean, it's all well and good Burnley or Wolves getting letters of apology, but what's that going to do in the grand scheme of things to their season? You get what I'm saying? Now I'm going to touch on the Newcastle controversy last night. Now, I thought, by and large, I think in the UEFA competitions, especially the Champions League, I think VAR is used much better than the Premier League officials. But unfortunately, last night I actually thought they were doing really well with all the Polish team of officials for the Newcastle PSG game in Paris last night. Now, obviously Newcastle are winning 1-0. They led in the first half through Alexander Isak's 25th minute goal. and they were hanging on brilliantly. Nick Pope was playing out of his skin, just like he used to do for Burnley, funnily enough. And then PSG are trying in vain. They tried all the second half to get decisions, and the referee went to VAR, 2 seconds, boom, right, and every decision up until the 97th minute was the correct decision. VAR dismissed every single thing until the 97th minute. Now the ball gets crossed in from the right hand side. The ball hits the Newcastle defender. I forget who it was on the chest. It hits the chest. Now obviously PSG are appealing as one. I mean, there was even players yellow carded in the melee as well in the confusion. But the guy, I saw 3 or 4 replays, and I thought it can't be a penalty. Lo and behold, the Polish referee is told by the Polish VAR ref to go to the monitor and revisit the decision. He takes one look at it, right, and I think he's influenced by the Parisians, by the PSG fans. Gives a penalty, absolute disgrace. It was a disgrace, and Eddie Howe, I think Pope said afterwards, it was a total joke and injustice. I mean, Jermaine Genius on television absolutely lost it, and I can understand why. Now, if VAR are going to keep making absolute rank decisions like this, I'm going to quit football and join the knitting circle. So you get less controversy in that hobby than you do in football. Football's turning into a joke. I mean, it worked. The technology in cricket worked well with the runouts and the DRS. Rugby league and union, they work the system very, very well to see if a try is legal or not. Is the downward pressure, and when he puts the ball down or he attempts to score a try, is his foot out? Is his foot on the whitewash when he goes in the corner to score a try? And more often than not, 99.9% of the time, the technology proves the referee's right, or the officials use the technology in rugby and cricket. The umpires as well, they use the technology brilliantly. Then why can't we do the same in football? The only thing that works technology-wise in the game at the moment is the goal line technology. We've only had one blemish in about nearly 9 or 10 years we've been using the goal line technology, and Hawkeye is always usually quite accurate. But there has to be a limit now. There has to be a point where, where what's clear and obvious. Burnley have been done. I've lost 6 or 7 points on VAR decisions. Wolves have got double that. They should be on 22 points this season. I can understand why Gary O'Neill's angry. I can understand why Eddie Howe hasn't got the opportunity, his qualification in the next round in his own hands. Because he's furious because a Polish decision, the Polish officials have been influenced by PSG. Not just the fans, but the players as well. This whole system is a joke. Football is becoming a complete joke when technology is concerned. And believe me, I would go back to the good old. If you said to me, would you scrap VAR? My answer would be 100% categorical yes. Because why should I back a system that time and time again, it's not the technology that's the problem, it's the people that are using the technology that absolutely balls it up time and time and time again. And there has to be a limit now, there has to be a responsibility. The PGMOL, UEFA, FIFA, they need to get together, and all this corruption, all this bias towards the big six, whether it's Champions League or Premier League and another thing, the FA Cup. I would scrap VAR for the FA Cup. There are some games from round 3 onwards that use VAR, the Premier League grounds, and then non-Premier League grounds, the Football League grounds, they don't use it, or non-league grounds, they don't use it. You can either introduce VAR at all grounds, or you don't. Simple as that. But one way or another, something's got to give, because this ridiculous use of VAR and the way that it's being used by certain people, certain officials, cannot go on forever. Simple as that.